Hello everyone, it's me, Mr. Sensible from Sensible Prints, and today we're going to be printing and painting Gizmo from the hit motion picture Gremlins 2.
Did you guys ever watch Gremlins or Gremlins 2? I have a lot of happy memories from when I was younger, and I used to go to the video store with my mother and we would pick out a movie for the night, and I always enjoyed renting those movies, and I think Gremlins was definitely one of the ones that we rented multiple times. But I just think about how much simpler things were back then. You didn't have Netflix or things where you could just look at every movie that you want at any time and you could watch 10 in a row if you want. We rented a movie and that was our movie for the weekend. Or sometimes we rented a video game and that was our video game for the weekend. And I feel that I got a lot of joy out of those movies and games, and more joy than I receive in movies and games that I watch and participate in now, because I feel like these days I just watch things for the sake of watching them and not for the sake of enjoying something with someone I love. Because when I used to rent movies, whether it was with my mother or younger brother or someone else, it was an event. It was a ritual. It was something we all took part in. And we basically found some common thread between us. Because obviously we all didn't want to watch the same movie. We all didn't have the exact same likes and dislikes. But we compromised. And we found something all of us could enjoy. And I feel like today, it's a lot easier to just do what you enjoy by yourself while your friend does what they enjoy by themselves. And you guys might be in the same room, but it definitely feels a lot more lonely than it used to. I don't know. Do you guys ever feel like that? We're going to start blocking in some colors now. We're going to start with a nice deep brown. And I think this will do really well for the shadows of Gizmo's fur here. And if you're painting with me right now, you don't have to paint yours brown. You can paint yours whatever color you want. Maybe your Gizmo is purple. Or maybe you're not even painting Gizmo. Maybe you're painting something else. And that's okay too. Because the point is that you're just taking the time to paint and to think about what matters to you. Because no one's going to tell you that. Nobody cares about your life more than you do. And I spent a lot of my life doing what other people told me to do, doing things that I had read online or in a book. But I never really stopped until I was in my early 30s to think about what I wanted out of my life. And I think that if you just march through life without thinking about what you want, if all you're thinking about is a goal, like paying off my mortgage, paying rent, getting a project approved, whatever it is, going to school, if that's all you think about and you don't think about what brings you joy, then what are you doing all those things for? Because after they're all done, after you've scored all the points, After you've got that corner office, after you've gotten your PhD, what then? It's time for your joy. And if you've spent your whole life pushing down what brings you joy and not thinking about it, then you're going to get to that point and you're going to have no clue what to do, because your body is just not trained for it. You're training your body to not feel joy. You're training your body to just absorb content, absorb information, absorb everything, and then just stop and absorb some more. It will never end. There's always going to be another show, another book, another game, another job. But there's only going to be one you. And I find it funny how so many people have no idea what they want. But when you stop and ask them, what they want or what they like, they can't tell you. And I think it's pretty telling when you've lived so long without thinking about what brings you joy, that you almost trick yourself into believing that things that don't bring you joy are in fact bringing you joy. And I was guilty of this for a long time. I thought that I needed a good job to be happy, that I needed to be well known or successful in some way in a field of some kind. And I've realized as I got older that every single thing I do on this planet won't matter in 75 to 100 years. And when I think about that, it makes me wonder, if no one's going to remember anything that I do, then why do anything that I don't want to do? Should I not just be trying to be the most fulfilled that I can be? I don't know. Maybe that's too ridiculous. What do you guys think? So we're just going to take some time now to put in some highlights on Gizmo. I always like to go with a mix of a base color and a highlight color before I get into the full highlight. I find it makes things pop. And with a model like this, where there's lots of raised fur, it can be useful to just kind of add a little bit of texture to your model. Then after that, we're gonna re-block in the white on the eyes and the mouth and the hands, so that we can start to get some of that flesh colored tone that's on Gizmo. Also around the eyelids, you'll notice he's got a lot of flesh around him. And as you paint your model or canvas, or sit in your chair enjoying your meal, or lay in bed, just take this moment to think about what makes you happy in life. Is it your friends and family? Is it doing art of some kind? Is it your job? Whatever it is, really focus on it and think about, in a perfect world, if we didn't have to pay for things, if we could be doing whatever we wanted, what is it that you would be doing right now, right at this moment? whatever time it is for you. Whatever you're thinking of, that is what brings you joy. That is where you should be putting all of your effort. That is where you need to find like-minded people. Because there are going to be people in your life who tell you what you're doing doesn't make sense. What you're doing is wrong. There's a more efficient way. There's a better way. It won't be enough. You won't be enough. And you need to have that ammunition in your mind ready to defend what brings you joy. Because maybe to someone else it doesn't seem like a big deal, but it's a big deal to you. And if it's a big deal to you, then it's a big deal to me. So now we've just got to finish with some of the white fur, and we can't forget about the patch of white fur behind his eye. That's what makes Gizmo unique. It makes him different from all the other gremlins. And I'm sure there's things about you that make you unique and different from all of your friends and family. And that's okay. It's important that we all have things that make us different, because that's how we grow as a society. And as we block in these last pieces of white, we can prepare to add the flesh coloring to his ears and appendages. And this is going to really help bring the model to life. When you paint skin, it's important to remember that there's lots of different types of skin. So you might have a thought in your head of what color something should be, but remember that there's so many people that even if you make a mistake, there's still somebody on the world with skin like that. So there's no wrong way to paint, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So now we will begin to just block in all of the different flesh tones on Gizmo. And while you do this, just take a moment to think about all the things that you did today. Think about all of the tasks you completed and just let them go. Let them fall away and just focus on what you are painting, on what you are creating, and what you want out of your life. Just take this moment to be here with me as we paint our Gizmo. So this already looks great as it is, but we can really improve it by just adding a more opaque flesh tone on top of our shadow base. What this is going to do is it's going to add more of a puppet skin effect, because at the end of the day Gizmo was a puppet, so we don't want him to look like he's got human skin, because that would be probably terrifying. Or maybe it would be really cool if you painted your Gizmo in human flesh. I would love to see it. And if you made it this far into the video, if you could just take a moment to like and subscribe, I would really appreciate it. I know you hear that probably 1,000 times a day, but the reason you hear it is because it's the only way that creators can get their creations to more people. I created things all my life. Ever since I was maybe 4 or 5 years old, I started drawing. And I would never say that I'm a professional artist in any capacity, but I am professional at doing art my way and creating things I enjoy. And I think that that's the best we can hope for, because to try and strive to be a professional artist, you're always going to be chasing some new technique or some new avenue to do art instead of just doing it. And I think it's more important to do art than it is to think about doing art. And I think a lot of people spend more time thinking about doing art than making art. Do you do that? I've been guilty of it in the past. So now we're getting to my favorite part of any model, which is painting the eyes. I think that if you can learn to paint eyes well, you will make any model seem lifelike. When I was younger, I used to do a lot of photography, and I learned very early from a professional photographer that did wildlife. He told me that no matter what picture you take of a bird, it's always going to look only as good as the eye is sharp. Because if the eye is out of focus, then the whole bird might as well be out of focus, because the eyes are the windows to the soul. And I think it's true for painting models as well. If you can't paint eyes, then you're going to leave your models without a soul. And that's not to say that painting eyes is easy. It takes time and practice and a lot of precision, but once you've got it down, it's going to elevate your art to the next level, I promise you. Not just for models, but anything that you do art related that's organic. Always make their eyes as sharp as possible, because they're the windows to the soul. So there he is. We finished painting our little gizmo. Thank you for taking the time to sit and talk. I really appreciate our conversations. I don't know what I'm going to print next time, but if you guys have any ideas, why don't you leave them in the comments below? Until next time, this is Mr. Sensible. Have a good night.